Remember to check out that expiring coupon code linked down below. August 31st, Jack's birthday does mean prices start going up again. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Is it time to buy the dip yet when it comes to recovery stocks? Well, let's take a look at some of the latest data and see, is this the worst that it's going to get, or is this just the beginning? Let's start with airline travel. First, the number of people traveling through airports has started to plummet. In fact, 1.47 million individuals took flights on Tuesday. That's the fewest amount of people who have taken trips in the last 3 months. Now, it's also worth noting that the 7-day average is down to 1.67 million, down from 2 million just a month ago. Now, part of this could be because of the end of summer. You do tend to get a deceleration of air travel at the end of summer because, well, vacation time's over, right? But there's also, and this is reported from Bloomberg through airlines and travel reservation companies, that there's a deceleration in the number of new bookings, which generally you would start seeing for the fall and winter, and you're seeing a deceleration of those, and you're seeing an increase in cancellations. And so Bloomberg and the airlines believe this is directly attributable to COVID. Take a look at this particular chart here. What you want to look at is the blue line. The blue line shows you the number of travelers traveling per day, and the white line is compared to last year. A little harder to read that one. But you can clearly see this red arrow here in this sort of inflection point of daily travelers on or getting on airplanes. And so I'm always looking for, okay, you know, is this the bottom? Are we going to bounce off of this? Does this mean it's time to buy? We'll look at particular stocks in just a moment. But it's also worth noting that restaurants right now are 10 to 11% below their 2019 levels. Not so surprised here. I would expect to see, restaurants taking a little bit of time to get back to 2019 levels. I would also expect to see some form of decline after this original burst of reopening, which this summer really has felt, in my opinion, like this burst of reopening. And remember what Jerome Powell told us, like him or not, I think he had a good point when he said once we reopen, we might have this burst of people going out again, and then people going, all right, I did my going out again, now I'm still going to go out, but maybe not as much as when I first started going out again. It's like, we open up, it's like, I'm going back out every day, and then it's like, okay, let me maybe go back to what I had previously. So then we're also seeing hotel data decline. So the average room rate decline, or average room rates have gone down, so prices have gone down for the last 3 weeks. This is worse than the typical seasonal decline that we're seeing. This is what the hotel industry is saying. They're calling this a chill on travel caused by Delta. We're also seeing a decline in job postings for jobs that require close contact. This would include particular jobs like childcare or even dental offices. Dental offices seeing a decline, or rather a decline in job postings. So you can see this here. Industries sensitive to COVID, such as childcare and dentistry, have seen a nearly 7% decline in average job postings in recent weeks. A lot of this, again, being attributed to Delta. And the expectation is that this hiring drop could continue into industries like airports, hotels, restaurants, that we'll start seeing slower hiring there. And that if we start seeing slower hiring at hotels, airlines, restaurants, then potentially that unemployment rate could stay higher longer, which if it stays higher longer, we don't get that drop after the unemployment benefits go away in September, then maybe we don't taper yet as soon, and basically the punch bowl at the free money party might continue longer. In other words, Jerome Powell printing the money printer could last longer, which yesterday we talked about how it's possible Jerome Powell might not raise rates, might not suggest or begin tapering until November. And these sorts of high-frequency data could reiterate waiting until November, or who knows, if we end up having a COVID winter, could end up pushing us into next year for a taper, which I think would lead to some euphoria in the stock market throughout the rest of the year here. Now, Israel right now regarding vaccinations is no longer considering people vaccinated unless they have 3 shots. That is, they've gotten their booster shot. We're seeing office occupancy. So this is something else. It's going to be another barrier to seeing that herd immunity, right? We're seeing office occupancy down. We're seeing bookings, according to OpenTable at restaurants, down. Office occupancy, let's hit this here. We've got, take a look at this. This is office occupancy. We're seeing a plummet in office occupancy here. I don't know if you could really call it a plummet, but the rate of change is certainly accelerating to the downside here. We're down from 34.3% at the end of July to a net reading around 31.3%. in the middle of August here. So that's just a 3-week period here, and we're seeing a substantial decline in the amount of people going back to offices, which less people going to office means more maybe DoorDash and less restaurants, right? So you sort of get this compounding effect. A lot of folks obviously talking about Delta regarding this, which if we go to the Delta tracker, we are starting to see a little bit of a peak when it comes to, let's go to this screen right here. When it comes to hospitalizations, it's almost like we've hit a peak here and an inflection point in hospitalizations. All these different lines are different age groups. Seeing a little bit of that curve beginning here on hospitalizations, which is good. But then again, we are just going into winter time here. Now, I did think this was weird. This is the Open Table website rankings. And going into August here, we've actually seen a little bit of an explosion here. So a little bit of conflicting data here on, and so part of me is wondering, are we just seeing lagging data here of a decline of this Delta fear? Is Delta actually going to slow down our recovery this winter, or are people over it? It's worth noting that CCL hit its recent bottom here at the end of July, which is really right before Delta fears started picking up. It's almost like the market priced in Delta here, and now we've had a recovery on Carnival Cruise Lines here, hitting higher highs, higher lows, which is a very, very nice trend here, nice channel we've got with Carnival Cruise Lines, which remember, if you ever want to learn about trading, stocks, investing, money, check out my programs linked down below. We've got a coupon code, Jack's birthday, August 31st, 40% off, expiring, and then pricing goes up every time, so take a peek at that. Let's go look at AAL here. Let's look at American Airlines. American Airlines, you know, we've had a little bit of a bottom here, also around that July 20th period, another one around August 20th here. It's trying to get a little bit of a recovery here. Let's go to Cake just to compare. See, Cake, Cheesecake coming off this bottom here, also around August 20th. So, you know, it makes you wonder, is the stock market trying to start pricing in a recovery early here? Or is the high frequency data that we're seeing just the beginning of Delta really taking effect? Now, personally, I'm inclined to wait on buying into recovery stocks. I personally believe that, you know, winter time is going to be somewhat ugly for Delta. What we're seeing in the South, in Florida and Texas and other areas along the South, because of people going inside and getting air conditioning from the heat, I think we're going to see in the Northeast, the Northwest, as we go into the winter. And I think that's definitely going to weigh on air travel. We have not seen a bottom yet in this trend to the downside and people working from home, this trend of airline reservations slowing down, air travel slowing down. So unfortunately, I don't think we're through the thick of this yet. And I think we might see lower lows on all of the recovery stocks, particularly hotels, airlines, restaurants, and the travel ones. Macy's still kicking butt, blows my mind, but I think it's too soon to get in on the recovery yet. I don't think we've seen the worst of Delta just yet, which, knock on wood, I hope that we have seen the worst, but I want to know from you, what do you think? Personally, I'm going to stay away from recovery, but I want to hear from you. Have we already priced in Delta? Is this it? Does anybody actually care in the stock market about Delta? Let me know in the comments down below. Check out the programs link down below as well, and folks, we'll see you in the next one.